11th through the 15th at Craig Ranch Regional Park. The stunning water stage, pirate sword fights, juggling knives, mesmerizing mermaids, aerialists, and so much more under the big top tent. May 11th through the 15th at Craig Ranch Regional Park. For tickets, go to CirqueItalia.com. Get one free child's ticket with promo code CIRCUS at CirqueItalia.com.
Attention Medicare members. Hi, I'm Margaret Pitcher with Light Owl Insurance. I'm a licensed agent in Las Vegas. Make an appointment by calling 725-249-4994. While I do not offer every plan available in your area, any information I provide is limited to those plans. Please contact Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get more information on all of your options. TTY users, call 1-877-486-248-2048. My goal is to ensure that all of your healthcare needs are met. Call me for an appointment at 725-249-4994. That number again is 725-249-4994.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the host with no filter and the millennial who keeps him in check. Get ready for the stories that matter to you. It's Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro and Jamie D.
Well, all right. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Special edition of Pushing the Limits. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot to go over today. We got the former Republican chair here. Amy Tarkanian is going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Going to be a lot of fun talking to her, catching up. Hour number 2, movies have been made about this guy. Blackjack card counter extraordinaire. He runs Las Vegas Advisor now. A good friend and extremely knowledgeable when it comes to gambling and blackjack and just about everything that there is to offer in Las Vegas when it comes to gaming. Anthony Curtis will be joining us in studio hour number 2. And we're going to be talking about reparations first segment. Some people might be a little surprised with my opinions on that. Of course, alongside Jamie D. Jamie, what's happening, man?
What's up, Brian? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. Happy Thursday. I am actually taking tomorrow off.
Jealous.
And I am taking a little road trip for a few days with some very good friends. So I've said to myself, since I'm not doing the show tomorrow and Jamie will be doing the show tomorrow, I said, well, why don't I go on the air today and make a very special announcement, a programming announcement, if you will, for lack of a better term. So the announcement that I'm about to make is me and Jamie are engaged. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Horrible joke. But no, in all seriousness, Jamie's last show on Pushing the Limits, his last show will be tomorrow. Yes. And Jamie is going to be doing his own thing, so I'm really happy for him. And
getting my own show. I'm excited.
Yeah, so Jamie's going to be doing his own thing, so I'm very happy for him. And as we've said off the air, as I've said off the air, I'm here to help him. If not that he needs my help, but if he does, I'm here to help him. And Jamie's a good dude, and I'm happy for you, Jamie. And you're going to be doing your own deal. We don't know exactly the details on that yet, but when that does happen, you let me know, and I'll let everybody else know.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Of course, so I'm excited.
And
for
I'm
you.
happy for you as well, Brian. I'm here for you. I'm happy to have gone on this journey with you, Brian. You are an immaculate on-air personality.
Well, your check's in the mail. Thank you.
And I'm very grateful to be here with you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm happy for you as well. And this is great. So people are going to be wondering, well, wait, Brian, are you going to have a co-host? What's going on? And the answer is somebody that is very familiar to this show. If you listen to the show, you'll know this name. His name is Guy David. And I love working with Guy. I think he's phenomenal. And Guy David will be starting as my co-host the first week of June. So I'm really excited.
My birthday week.
Yeah, really excited about that. So Guy David will be my permanent co-host starting the first week of June. Really looking forward to that as well. Jamie's last show will be tomorrow. He'll be flying solo tomorrow because I took tomorrow off. And obviously the remainder of May, which isn't much, a week or two, I'll be on my own. It's crazy because people say, Brian, didn't you do a show alone? Yeah, for most of my radio career, I've done radio by myself. I did the Vegas take by myself on and off because my co-host didn't show up half the time, but that's another story for another show. No, I did the Vegas take by myself solo for years, and I'm used to that. I don't have a problem doing it alone, but some people don't like to be lonely. Some people like a little bit of company. So anyway, I'm really happy that Guy David's going to be coming in, so I won't be alone, and I wish Jamie the best of luck, of course.
Thank you.
And he ain't going anywhere. He's staying put
right here at KSHP
at this station. So we'll be seeing a lot of Jamie. So anyway, I wanted to let everybody know, and since I won't be here tomorrow, Jamie will. All right, so Jamie, we're going to get into what I consider is a very serious topic. We're probably going to disagree on this one, but that's probably one reason why I wanted to bring it up. This is probably why I wanted to bring this up, and the issue is reparations, right? This resolution, which Cori Bush introduced yesterday, calls for $14 trillion to what they say closes the black and white wealth gap that she urges stems from racist government policies, saying that black people in our country cannot wait any longer for our government to begin addressing each and every one of the extraordinary bits of harm, all of them. So let's just call this for what it is. This is not welfare. This is not food stamps. This is not unemployment. This is, we are going to hand out $14 trillion to people just because they are black, because of things that happened many, many years ago. Now, I don't know if this is going to pass or not. Obviously, the ones that want it to pass, some of them, not all of them, by the way. The overwhelming majority of Democrats do not agree with this, by the way, including Gavin Newsom, and they would start in California with this. Gavin Newsom does not agree with this. Republicans obviously do not agree with this.
And real quick, you said your stance is that you believe this is just giving
out. I didn't give my stance yet. But
you said that you. I was trying to clarify. You said that you believe this is happening to just give people money for something that was done years ago, right?
Well, that's not my opinion. That's what the lawmakers are that are putting this into place. It's their reasoning behind it. They've said that. That's their reasoning.
It sounded like it was your opinion. Okay.
No, that's
I want to make sure.
Cori Bush is right here, and she's the one of the Democrats that introduced this bill. Let me be very clear on this. And some people are going to say, oh, liberal Brian, you must be for this. First of all, I'm not a liberal. And second of all, I am not for this. I have never been for reparations. And some people, well, Brian, you're white. You don't know what black people go through. Nothing to do with it. First of all, I'm Jewish. Does that mean that the Germans owe me reparations for something that happened many years ago when 7 million Jews were killed?
They should.
Of course not. That's absurd.
They should.
Because the Germans today had nothing to do with what happened in Nazi Germany, just like I have nothing to do with what happened with slavery. It wasn't my fault. I don't feel guilty for it. I wish it didn't happen. It's horrible. A horrible part of a history of this country is that at one point you could own black people. I think any reasonable human being that's not racist would say that's terrible, and I wish it didn't happen. But it's not my fault.
Can I ask you a question before you continue?
Sure.
Is the Jewish community still affected by the German community? After what happened to you all, which is tragic, were you all still being owned by the German community or attacked by the German community or have to follow rules and policies under the German community that kept you all down as a society?
Well, when 7 million Jews are murdered, it will always affect the Jewish community. But the point that I make is, what people today were responsible for that? Nobody.
So let me, because I would wholeheartedly love this to not be a my community versus your community or which community had it harder or had more damage. I want to stick to the topic at hand, which is my question first of, and answer this again, are you still affected by what happened to you outside of your population being dwindled down in numbers? Are you affected in government? Are you affected in your culture?
There's anti-Semitism all over the place.
Okay.
No question.
But that, right?
But here's what I do, Jamie.
Okay.
I don't look at all of society and say, you're all anti-Semites, so give me money. I wouldn't look at all Germans, because I know it's not true, that all people that are German are anti-Semitic, because first of all, that's not true. And second of all, these people had nothing to do with what happened during Nazi Germany. I look at the same thing when it comes to reparations. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. If there's someone that has, say, a 4.0 GPA, black person that has a 4.0 GPA, great resume, and a white person that has a 4.0 GPA, great resume, and they're equal as far as their prerequisites and what they've done in high school, then I have no problem saying, you know what, let's choose the black person over the white person. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is choosing a black person over a white person for a job when the black person isn't as qualified over the white person. And by the way, vice versa. I don't want to see a white person get a job over a black person for the same thing.
So I would have to say, because we're moving on to a different topic, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I think that what you don't deal with, that African American people deal with, is we're still dealing with the effects of slavery. Yes, you still deal with the effects of the Holocaust, but not at the same rate as African American people. We still deal with being afraid for our lives because of our skin color. We feel we are still being targeted. We're being put in prison more. We're dealing with having to get charged for the same crimes that our white and Hispanic counterparts aren't being charged for. And there's so much history behind the attacks between the Caucasian community and the African American community. You have the Coke pandemic, you have slavery, you have the prison pandemic, you have governmental rules that are placed on black people that aren't affecting other ethnicities. When you look at, and that's why I said I want to make it a Holocaust versus the slavery thing, both of those times were extremely tragic. However, you can statistically see that African American people are still facing the backlash and the effects of slavery even till today in all areas of life. And that's the biggest issue, because if this was a situation, like you said in your situation, I'm only using your words, are you going to look at the German people for what they did? Are you gonna say the German people owe you for something that happened from previous German people? You said no, because they're not doing those things to you now. However, Caucasian people and people in power are still doing those same exact things that hinder us as a community to thrive. And that's the difference between, I would say, our communities, which is why you probably don't understand why reparations are very important.
I do understand. I would say this: white people don't own black people today, number one. Number two, I would also say that throwing money at this is not going to solve the issue.
The prison pandemic is a way of slavery, by the way. Putting several African American men in prison for small crimes like marijuana and other petty crimes.
So there are white people that are also in
there are,
jail
but
for small
but
crimes.
they're not at the same rate as African American people.
Okay, but hold on, let me just finish. Throwing money at this is not going to solve the issue.
It will solve a lot of issues.
I disagree with you. Throwing money at people is not going to end racism. I could not disagree
with you more. It's not going to end racism, but it's going to level the equity
There's
field.
a number of different reasons why I disagree with you. I'll try to go through them. First of all, as I said, throwing money at people wouldn't end anti-Semitism, and it doesn't end racism.
It's not about that. That's not.
Well, that's exactly what this bill is about.
The bill is not to end racism. The bill is to make the playing field financially the same for African American people and Caucasian people. So it's about making sure that you have the same opportunity for the same type of products in life, for the same type of experiences and opportunities. That's why we have all these different programs in place, because we're trying to make the playing field the same. Just how you didn't move on to the topic you said earlier. If you have an African American kid and a Caucasian kid, both with the 4.0 GPA, you said that you would give it to the African American kid.
People,
because again, that's diversity.
Here's where I disagree with you. Most people, not all, but most people that have money in society had to work for it. Most people, and again, I say not all, because there are situations where people inherit a lot of money. Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., for an example, okay? Most people have to work for it in this country. And I am not saying that it's an equal playing field and black people have the same opportunities as white people financially, because that would be a lie. But what I am saying is, when you just throw money at people and say, okay, well, we want an equal playing field, so here's all this money. Let's also remind ourselves of the debt that this country is in. $14 trillion to be handed out to black people, to me, to be handed out to anybody, no matter what the color of your skin is or who you are, is irresponsible. That's number one. Number two, this bill is not going to pass.
Let me ask you this.
It's not going to pass.
If Germans were to do this to Jewish people, would you say the same thing?
It's a joke. Yeah, that would be a joke.
It would be a joke?
It would be a joke.
And why would you consider it to be a joke and
For
wrong?
the same reasons I'm talking about handing out to black people, because Adolf Hitler's not alive right now. Those, unless you're 105 years old, those that murdered Jews, 7 million of them, are not alive today. The people that are in Germany today are not murdering Jews, or at least if they are, I don't know about it. And they have absolutely nothing to do with what happened during the Nazi Germany days.
Before you go forward, that's the difference between my community and your community. We are still being affected by those who are still alive, those who were in
I'm still affected.
No. Hear me out. You said people who are 105 years old have nothing. They have something to do with it, but they're not still affecting the Jewish community. People who are in power today got their perception and their way of life from their past members who did the exact same things to African American people, who are doing it to us today, who are keeping that same exact energy alive. Again, incarcerating innocent black people, putting black people in certain communities, and then blocking it off from them to be able to have other opportunities and be in different communities.
Who's an innocent black person who's incarcerated?
There
right
are
now?
several innocent black people who are incarcerated. We can look it up, look different crimes.
You don't think there are several?
There are black men who are still incarcerated for because of marijuana when marijuana is legal in certain states.
And there are white people as well that are
it's not
incarcerated
at
for
the
marijuana.
same. It's not at the same rate. As well as
So let's just give them millions of dollars? Like, I don't understand.
as well. If we look at how society is structured, I'm trying to get my words together because I'm doing social media at the same time. Let me take a step back. I'm not going to do social media because I want to focus on you. When you think about everything that the black ethnicity has to face against, you have poverty lines everywhere. Let's talk about legit structure of cities. They place African American people in one part of the city, leave them there, cut off transportation from that city to other major cities, not allow it to be easier for them to move around. That keeps people in one space. Then you have the drug epidemic. This is history. Go back and look at the movies of how the government actually placed drugs in the African American community to hinder them. Then you have leaders like Michael. What was I going to say? You have different leaders who are out here trying to fight for the rights of African American people, and just by speaking for the rights, they're killed and they're assassinated. You're looking at people who are told that, okay, cool, like Michael Jordan, okay, you're great as an African-American individual, but you're only great as an athlete. They place us in so many different spaces where we're not able to move forward, and we have to dance and perform for the Caucasian people just to be successful. When you say things like, okay, everybody has the same opportunity, everybody has to work for their riches and for their status, everybody does not have the same opportunity to do so. When you look at the difference between what you just said and what we're dealing with, we're not only dealing with the effects from slavery, but people who are in power right now took those same exact teachings and lessons from their past generations and are keeping that same exact energy alive. So your prison systems and equity and diversity and inclusion, they're keeping a lot of black people out of spaces that they don't want them in.
And your solution is let's just give blank checks to black people.
That's your solution. That's one of the solutions. Again, if we're talking about what does this do, this does not end racism, but this allows a lot of people to have access to resources that their counterparts that their counterparts have that we don't.
So here's my other issue. My issue is, where do you draw the line? We can look at every single race, every single culture or religion, and we can say that race, religion, or that culture has been oppressed to some level. So my question is, what do? Do we just start handing out money to every
But again,
culture,
every culture
every
that's
race,
oppressed,
every religion that's been oppressed.
But
where do you draw the line?
Hear me out. Think about. Somebody was like, "Oh, Michael Jordan owns the NBA team." Yes, Michael Jordan has created an amazing legacy for himself because he took a path that is pushed by Caucasian people to be like, this is your way out of the hood. I'm happy for Michael Jordan. I support Michael Jordan, but he is one of few African Americans who are actually able to do something with themselves. They took a path that was, again, placed for African Americans to take so that they can make it out of the hood.
You're making it like no black people are successful in business or other entities.
No, hear me out. As time has been progressing, so has black people. So has all these different rules that have been put in place and programs for African Americans to have the same exact resources as their counterparts. But we are still systematically oppressed and statistically on the bottom part of the totem pole, where we are not able to still have the same exact access to resources, still have the same exact access to opportunities, and do the exact same things and live the same lifestyles as our Caucasian counterparts.
Here's where I think, again, this is a big part of where I disagree with you on this. I'm sure there are some black people out there that have been oppressed and that have not gotten jobs because of the color of skin. I wish that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But there are also people out there that have not taken the necessary steps in their life. It could be, and by the way, this could go for any race.
It goes for any ethnicity.
It could be you're lazy, you don't want to work, and you're giving a percentage of people, I don't know what that percentage is, but you would certainly be giving a percentage of people checks when they haven't made the proper steps in their life to get an education. They haven't made the proper steps in their life to work. Mm-hmm. They haven't made some of them could be criminals. And you're saying, let's just give you a blank check because of the color of your skin. And I am sorry, Jamie. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's wrong. I am all for programs to help people, and I am all for equality, and I am all for trying to get things right. and I don't want to see systemic racism, which obviously does exist. I am all for those things. But at the same time, this is a very slippery slope. I find it extremely irresponsible.
Real quick, even with that being said, too, you stated that, yes, there are people in every ethnicity that are lazy, that don't. Dang, I don't know how I'm just drawing blanks today. They're not applying themselves and all those great things. However, there's a huge difference between people who are lazy because that is the life that they made for themselves, and African-American people who, yeah, there are some that they made the life for themselves, but a majority of African-American people did not have the resources, did not have the father figures, did not have the support system and or the money.
That's not my fault.
That's a lot of Caucasian people's fault. It's not
my fault.
It's not your specific fault.
My tax dollars shouldn't go to that.
It's not your specific fault for sure. However, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that while you may be an ally for people having the space and the equality that they deserve, you're one of few people who are not in power who are still pushing for that. But the people who are in power are pushing against you and me. And a lot of times we're looking at, oh, well, they're just being lazy versus not seeing the resources. They have literally had generations of families that had no money, who had to live on welfare, had poverty to deal with poverty, are still in the same exact school systems where they're trying to push their students to go to college. But those school systems are underfunded. Then you're looking at the community. Their community is drug-ridden, gang-ridden. Look at that, and then look at the suburbs next to them. They don't face the exact same situations that hood is facing. So when you're sitting here saying, well, oh, that black person's lazy, they're not applying themselves, and then you're looking at the suburb over here, they don't have to apply themselves as hard because they're giving all the resources to just coast and live a better life than those who are in the hood. So when you're looking at why would we want to give people money, you're looking at breaking systematic oppression. You're looking at breaking statistic poverty. You're looking at creating a new life for individuals who would have never been able to seek better schooling, who would have never been able to put food on their table if it wasn't for the government. They would have never been able to live in a better house that isn't infested with bugs or it doesn't have AC and so on. Have a better car, seek therapy, go to the hospital, make sure that they have resources that get to allow them to be treated just like any other human being that wasn't African American. And if you look at this, look at the Hispanic community. They deal with the very similar situations as the African American community. And if you look at how set up the Caucasian community is versus their counterparts, there's a reason why there are politicians in power now who are pushing for reparations, because look back in the past, we were promised 40 acres and a mule. Did we ever get that? No. So you're telling me that, oh, well, we shouldn't be paying for the things that our past ancestors did. Well, look at people who are in power now. They're taking the baton from those ancestors and keeping that same exact lifestyle alive in modern culture.
Okay, so you said a lot of things there. First of all, I just want to let you know that 3 in 10 U.S. adults do not believe that descendants of slaves. 3 of 10 U.S. adults say descendants of slaves should be repaid. 70% of the country disagrees with reparations.
Who is that 70% of the country?
Americans.
Americans, but I would let them know the demographic.
Well, that's all races.
I would let them know the demographic,
okay, hold on. Let me just get this out. Here's another issue that there's a lot of issues that why I disagree with this, but another one. Black family, let's just say. Educated family, worked hard their whole life. Household income, $250,000 a year. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking. White family, not educated. Household income, $25,000 a year. So you're telling me you want to give that black family a chunk of $14 trillion, and then that white family that is struggling, that are not felons, that have done everything right in their life, but they're struggling, they get nothing. And let's take that $14 trillion, and some of that $14 trillion is going to go to household incomes of more than $250,000 a year. I find that to be utterly absurd.
But see, when you try to compare a Caucasian family to a African American family, African Americans are disproportionately affected, and they're disproportionately affected by the situations that we're placed in. We are literally placed in a culture and in a society that is completely against us. We are disproportionately. Why can't I get the words out? We are a community.
But that's a specific example. I want you to focus on that.
Okay, so if you want to focus on that specific example,
because that's going to happen.
What's the difference between a Caucasian community family that doesn't have the money and the access and an African American family doesn't have the money and the access. Put both of them together.
I'm talking about a black family that does.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. So my thing is this. Wait, are you saying a black family that does?
I'm telling you, if we this will not see. Here's another problem with this reparations thing. They didn't put a price tag on it. If you have a black family that is doing extremely well, and it is possible, by the way, for black people to succeed in society.
It sure is.
They don't have to be
it's
athletes.
not as easy, though.
They don't have to be athletes.
It's not as easy.
But there are
but also,
wait,
real quick, I want to make the point. If you look at what is told to our youth, we are told that we should be in entertainment. We are told that we should be athletes. And we are told to be, again, showmen to make it out of the hood. That is, again, you won't know this because you don't have to deal with this. You didn't live the same lifestyle as many African American people have lived. We are told that to make it out of the hood, we have to be a rapper. We have to be a athlete. We have to be an actor. That's why so many
I've
people...
never heard anybody that I know that's made a statement like that.
Because my thing is, you're not surrounded by the majority of people who deal with these issues.
But again,
you are cozy with African American people who are well off, who didn't have that exact same experience, which I love for them. I'm happy for them. Everybody deserves to have the experience of happiness and financial security. But majority of black American people do not have that.
I need to go back to what I said earlier because I think it's important. And by the way, no, I don't believe a black family that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year should be receiving money.
But I don't think they're going to be a part of that, though. If you're talking about that, I don't think they're going to be a part of that.
You are wrong.
Are they going to be a part of that?
You are wrong.
Okay, let me know.
In this bill,
let me know.
It doesn't say that if you make a certain amount of money, you don't get paid. That's why this is a joke. And I go back, let me just finish here. I go back to what I said earlier. If you're a black family making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and you want reparations, what about all the poor people in this country that are at different races? Don't you think they should get a piece of that pie?
But my thing is, won't that bill be edited, though?
What's that?
That's just the basis of the bill. There's still they still have to put more into the bill, right?
No. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There is nothing. I read it last night. There's nothing in this bill that says if you make a certain amount of money, you don't get reparations. It is ridiculous. And I go back to what I said earlier. And this is important. I'm not black. I think we all can see that. But I've been the victim of anti-Semitism in my life. I don't hear Jewish people in this country or throughout the world saying, I want reparations
because
from
they have
Germany.
It better off. And again, they're not still being affected by it.
There are people in a synagogue that were shot and killed in Pittsburgh for being Jewish.
Okay, but my thing is this. Everybody is still dealing with attacks on their culture, attacks on their sexuality, and attacks on their ethnicity. Does it make it right? No. Are we able to share that same experience? Yes. But the experience that we do not share is the fact that we're still dealing as African American people with you're not dealing with.
You don't think as a Jewish person I'm dealing with any anti-Semitism or hate?
I mean, I'm actually this. How far does your anti-Semitism and hate extend? Explain that to me.
There are people in this country that have died because they're Jewish. Does it get any worse than that?
No, that's horrible.
Yeah,
people are dying, but is that all you have to say is that people are dying?
What do you mean? Is that all I have to say?
I'm trying to ask you. Is that how far anti-Semitism and the hatred towards Jewish people extends? Dying?
Can it be any worse than that?
Let me hear me out.
Losing your life because of your religion.
Hear me out. I 100% want equality for everybody, and I want everybody to feel the excitement and the happiness to wake up every day and feel safe and feel like they have the same opportunities. But the difference between your community and my community is that you still have way more opportunities, resources, and access that we don't have. While yes, both of our communities are being affected and killed and targeted and having hate crimes placed on them, which is horrible. That's one thing that we can compare as a community, but there are still so many other horrible, horrific things that African Americans still have to deal with as well. You have to understand this. As a Caucasian man yourself, I wouldn't know that you're Jewish just by looking at you. I wouldn't. If you wouldn't have told me that you were Jewish before coming on the show, I would have never known. So my thing is, you get to hide without trying behind your ethnicity versus me, who was African American, who has to walk in my skin and walk in the effects of what happens to African American people every day.
My point is pretty simple, which is hate is hate, whether you're black or Jewish or whatever. Hate is hate, whether it's being owned by human beings, which is horrible because of the color of your skin, or 7 million of your ancestors being murdered because of their religion. Hate is hate. And my opinion is, instead of getting into a debate of, well, my race it gets more hatred than your race, or my race is more oppressed than your race, so we deserve $14 trillion. My opinion is as follows. We need to have programs set up to help people succeed, maybe people that are underprivileged, people that are, hey, let's try this out, people that are poor. Some of those people, a good portion of those people will probably be minorities in this country. Let's come up with programs that will help everybody that is poor in this country succeed, not just black, not just white or Jewish.
There are programs for both.
So I would say take that $14 trillion, which is, by the way, beyond irresponsible. I'm not saying we don't blow money in this country, because we do. But I would say take that money and allocate it to help all people that are struggling in this country, that are poor. Some of those people are oppressed. I would give you that. But let's help everybody across the board that's poor.
That's the thing, though. My thing is, you're acting like this $14 trillion will be given to black people, and they're just going to stop helping poor people. They're going to stop helping Caucasian people. They're going to stop helping Jewish people. That's not what's happening here. What we're saying is that there is a resource and there is money that the government has they can use to close the financial gap between African Americans and their Caucasian counterparts. So if you have it, help them out. And what I tell people all the time is that this is not we're just trying to give it all to black people. No, this is just one fight that is placed in the spotlight that African Americans are fighting. Everybody is fighting for their equality and their equity, and this is one thing that African Americans are trying to push for. We dealt with over 400 years of slavery. Don't you think that 400 years of slavery is still instilled in our current society and culture in just a new modern way? We're looking at, again, I want to make this very clear, because people on social media are asking what examples of black people, what effects do they have, and how are they being targeted? We are being targeted by the police. We are being targeted by lawmakers. We are being targeted by judges. We are being targeted by regular people on the street. That's one thing. We're also placed in communities where we're not given the same resources as it pertains to money, as it pertains to technology, as it pertains to funding for schools and teachers and books and so on, and knowledge. Then we're also talking about, okay, cool, you're in those hoods. Why can't you get out? Think about how transportation doesn't even extend that far from the hood to the cities, or the hood to the suburbs. Think about that. Then also think about the lack of scholarships that are given to African American students, that are given to other people. Yes, there are programs now that are helping out people way more, and I'm so grateful. If it wasn't for these programs, the African American community and other minorities would not be where they are today. But what we can't dismiss is the fact that there are still people, whether they're Caucasian, whether they're Jewish, whether they're Asian, whether they're Hispanic, that still hate black people, that are still in places of power, and that are still trying to keep black people away from financial gain, away from Social Security. And I don't mean like the dang check. I mean like actual Social Security, knowing that I feel safe and that I'm able to walk in a store and feel secure and not be judged and not be called a shoplifter, or come into a store and say, hey, I have $1,000 or $10,000 to buy this watch, and they're looking at us like our money isn't true and our money is fake. There's so many things that other communities don't deal with. And what is irritating is when people try to dismiss the fact that, where black people are being lazy. Just look at all the things we have to deal with and the effects of those situations. All
right, so let me respond by saying this. I never said all black people are lazy, but there are some black people that are lazy.
Never said you did.
Just
There's
like
lazy people everywhere.
Hold on. Let me just, let me go here for a minute. There are some black people that are lazy, just like there are some white people that are lazy, and some of those black people would getting free handouts. That's number one. I have a serious problem with that. Number two, and this is a fundamental disagreement, your fight for equality and equity, or part of your fight, is let's just give people money. I think that's absurd. Number three, my idea of the fight for equality and equity is helping people, in this case people that are black, to get an education, to find jobs, to run businesses, and help them with what is called the American dream. To me, fighting equality and equity is not throwing money at. Hold on. Just let me. Hold on. I didn't interrupt you. Just let me finish.
You're right.
Fighting equality and equity, to me, throwing money at people is not a solution. First of all, there's still going to be the same issues in society. I don't think that's going to help society at all. There might be some black people, a small percentage, I think, that would use that money and maybe help them with a business or maybe help them with an education. That is possible. But again, why I say it's a slippery slope and it is unfair to others that have been oppressed. And if the argument is, well, we've been oppressed more than you, to me, that's just not a fair argument. There are different examples, and it is a case-by-case basis on oppression. Yes, as a whole, would I agree that there is systemic racism? Absolutely. I talk about it on the show all the time. I call out racism all the time. But I am telling you that this is a very, in my opinion, a very irresponsible bill that I do not believe is passed. Even Gavin Newsom, you won't find somebody more to the left probably than Gavin Newsom in California, does not agree with this bill. There are black people in this country that even do not agree with this bill. Now, there are some that agree with it. As I said, 7 out of 10 Americans believe that reparations is not a good idea. 1 in 4 black people in this country believe it's not a good idea, and that does not surprise me. But going back to what I said earlier, 7 million Jews were killed in Nazi Germany. I don't hear a lot of Jewish people saying we want reparations. Slavery was awful, awful. But I think it sets a very dangerous and bad precedent when we decide to give handouts to people for something that happened many, many years ago. There are things we can do to help minorities. There are things we can do to help people that have been oppressed. I don't believe just throwing money at people is the right way to do it. But we got to take a break because we ran late there.
I'm about to say, because I took some notes, and I feel like I can actually articulate my words now for some reason.
We'll come back, and here's what I want to do. I want to take some phone calls on this when we come back. 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, now's the time to do so. Do you agree with Jamie? Do you agree with me? What do you think about this reparations bill? Probably won't pass, but I want to get your thoughts on it. And I promise you we will get to phone calls on the other side when we come back. And again, that number, 702-221-7283. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Do you want to take your business to the next level? Then join one of the fastest growing talk shows, Pushing the Limits. We have a wide range of sales packages that can fit your budget. Anything from on-site live remotes to in-studio interviews. Email Jamie. JamieD@KSHP.com. That's JAIME, capital DEE, at KSHP.com.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Anthony Curtis coming on board in hour number 2. If you're just joining us, we're talking about this California reparations panel approving payments of up to $1.2 million, by the way, to every black resident. Now, I'm sorry. I just think that's completely and utterly embarrassing and ridiculous. Let me repeat that. $1.2 million to every black resident in California. Now, Gavin Newsom does not agree with this, as do most people in this country. But some people do, and that's fine. I'm willing to hear them out as I've listened to Jamie. I've also opened up the phone lines, which is 702-221-7283. So, Jamie, I know you got more things you want to add. We're kind of running against the clock here. Let me just take a few phone calls, and then I want to hear you continue to make the case, which you're welcome to. Let's go to Edward first. Hi, Edward. What's up?
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Brian. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, before we get to that topic, I wanted to say, hey, Brian, I loved your Jerry Springer interview you did with him. Rest in peace to Jerry Springer. Because I did. I enjoyed that, and I would love to hear back later on about what you thought about him and the interview. But another one is rest in peace to Mr. Doyle Brunson, who we just lost a couple days ago.
Yes, we did.
Texas Dolly, living legend, and Las Vegas icon poker. Sure. And the third one is the topic you guys are talking about. I'm just going to say this. I think if you look at it, every race could look at something and say, hey, I'm upset about this, so I need something. I want something back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. That's my point. History. Yeah, that's my point. I agree.
But everybody can say they want something back because they're angry with something. However, there's a difference between other ethnicities and the African American community. We are still disproportionately affected by systematic racism, systematic oppression, lack of resources, lack of education, lack of acceptance into programs that are placed for everybody. We're still targeted by hate crimes. We're still killed by the police for no reason, pulled over by the police and still killed for no reason, killed by regular people on the street for no reason, sent to jail for crimes that other people are able to get away with. It's just a lot that we have to deal with. And if you try to make the case that, okay, cool, well, there are 1 in 4 black people who don't agree with this bill, let's ask them how much money they have. Let's ask them what kind of family they were born in. Let's ask them what kind of resources they have. A lot of times, and it just sucks because our community is just so
so stressed and so beaten down and honestly so
should
divided. Hold on, pause. And so real quick. Yeah, I got you. But they're so divided that even we fight against each other as people. And you can see in our own experiences that a lot of times when people get money, they forget where they come from, which is a lot of black people tell people, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget don't forget about the little people. Don't forget about your cousins now. Think about all them slogans. That comes from black people because black people get money and act like, oh, other black people are the plague. Come on now.
Okay. All right. I will say this. I don't believe that everyone is a project of their environment. I don't believe just because I come from a family of crackheads means I'm going to be a crackhead and I'm going to continue that cycle. And I also believe if you look at it with a penal system, sometimes like if you want to go to prisons, there are more white people on death row than there is any other race, and you'd be more than free to look at that. So we can't really go in that.
Well, here's what I want to say. You know, Robert Smith. I don't know if you know, Jamie, who Robert Smith is. He's a black person that's worth $6.1 billion. Should we give him $1.2 million? Hold on. I'm going down the list here. David Stewart's worth $3.7 billion. He's a black guy. Should we give Oprah Winfrey?
But you're diluting.
Hold on. I can ask you a question here. I'm not diluting anything because according to this bill, Oprah Winfrey is worth $2.7 billion. Should we be giving Oprah Winfrey $1.2 million in separations? Yes or no?
No. The answer is no. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, then the bill's wrong.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because I don't believe that this is the full depth of this bill. I truly believe that there will be we all know this is most likely going to pass anyway. But if there was a slight chance that it would, there will be rules and regulations behind this bill. The reason why I feel as though that Oprah Winfrey shouldn't receive reparations because she doesn't need it. If she needed it, if she was affected by the things that we're all affected by as a whole, then yes. All right. But then again, Oprah Winfrey has the access and the privilege to be in communities that a lot of African Americans don't have.
So we're running out of time here, but guess what? Black Representative Cori Bush disagrees with you.
How much does she make?
Because I'm telling you why she disagrees with you. Because she thinks it doesn't matter how much money a black person has. They should each get $1.2 million in California, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And that's Cori Bush.
702-221-7283. Well, you talk about black people in power. Here's one of them right here.
I support her.
Let's go to Curtis. Well, you just said you don't support her bill, though.
I support her.
You support her, but you don't support the bill. Let's go to Curtis.
Listen.
Curtis, you're next. What's up, Curtis?
Yes, how you doing?
Good.
I have one question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering one question. If we were taught right now that God is black, not that God is white, what would happen to the Catholic or the whole world that have to teach their kids and raise their kids that God was black? How would that affect?
Well, I'll answer by saying this. Anybody who tells me what they think God is right is a frickin' idiot, because nobody knows what God is. Nobody knows if God is male or female. Nobody knows if there's a God for sure. So I think across the board, you're a complete, I'm not calling you this, sir. I'm saying in general terms. Anybody who wants to tell me that they know what God is, race or gender, is a frickin' idiot. Because guess what? Nobody knows.
Ryan, let me ask you, that's what I'm taught. If you go...
we can't hear you.
Curtis, your phone's cutting out a little bit there, my friend.
We can't hear you, Curtis.
Your phone.
Okay, I'm saying that's what's taught.
Can you tell me where it's taught that God is for sure white? Where is that being taught?
Look around and see what.
No, I don't want to look. No, sir. With all due respect, I don't want to look around and see. You're the one that's making the point. I want to know where you. Right, exactly, and I respect that. But I'm just asking you, with all due respect. Where is it being taught specifically to people that God is 100% white? I want to know where that is, because they would be racist idiots if they said that.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Well, why don't you answer my question, though? Where is that being
taught? I'm asking you a question. I'm saying, when all the kids are taught one thing, when you see pictures of everything, what color do you see?
Pictures of God?
Yeah, he's white. I'm not saying God is white. I'm saying if you look at the pictures, he's white. Yes.
Okay,
right,
so somebody
he's illustrated as a white man.
I don't know. I don't really look at pictures of God, but
but Curtis is right. But there are a lot of Christians and a lot of Caucasian people who say that God is white.
Okay, so guess what? I'll repeat what I said.
Man.
I'll repeat what I said earlier. If somebody makes an assumption, first of all, that there even is a God, and they're right and you're wrong, and number two, that God is white, then they're a racist bigot. It's very simple.
Can I ask you a question? Did you agree with them giving Indians reparation?
I don't agree with anybody getting reparations. I've been very clear on that.
You don't think that because they took their land, they should give it back?
I've been very clear on this. Something that happened outside of my lifetime, I shouldn't have to pay for as a taxpayer.
Are you paying for that as a taxpayer now? Do you know?
It doesn't matter whether you're Indian. It doesn't matter whether you're black. It doesn't matter whether you're Jewish. I don't agree. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to help certain people that are struggling and come up with programs. But
you pay for that, those programs, right?
And it's wrong.
Wait, it's wrong for the programs or no?
No, it's wrong to be paying people in reparations, whether you're black or Indian or whatever.
Right, but
I'm saying
you're paying for those programs, right? You're paying into Social Security.
There is a fine line difference between, example, a program paid for by the taxpayers to help people that are struggling in poverty, maybe help them, a program that helps them get an education, a program that helps them get a job. There is a fine line between a program and saying, here you go, Oprah Winfrey, here's $1.2 million, spend it however you want it. By the way, that's another thing. I'm not saying every black person would spend it the wrong way, but there's certainly going to be a large percentage, in my opinion, of people that are going to take that $1.2 million and they're not going to use it for an education, because you know why? $1.2 million is an enormous amount of money that should, if you're smart, last you your whole life. If I got $1.2 million, I'd probably still do radio because I love it. But a lot of people, if you're given $1.2 million, oh, I better get that education. No. You're going to take that $1.2 million, you're going to be living on a beach somewhere.
So
it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, I think what you're doing is you're worrying too much about other people versus worrying about yourself. Let me tell you.
I'm worried about everybody.
No, you're not. Because if you're worried about everybody, you will allow people to give the chance to make their own choices.
With $1.2 million?
Yes, and I know if you were given $1.2 million, you would love the chance to make your own decisions. And
I wouldn't take it for reparations.
I would say this. I believe that every ethnicity deserves to have their wrongs righted, or whatever the word I just used. Because I personally believe that African Americans are disproportionately affected by a lot of societal issues that other ethnicities are not. So I believe, and I'm using my opinion, that yes, we deserve reparations. Now, my thing is, I personally believe that if you're going to give every African American person money, it should be on a system. Oprah Winfrey doesn't need as much reparations as other people. Is she still dealing with the effects of racism? Yes. Is Oprah? Which is why I said I wanted to go back to this. I said no because I was thinking about, okay, cool. If you're gonna give her 1.2 million, this person 1.2 million, I don't think she would need the exact same amount of money, but she does deserve reparations because she's still an African American woman who's fighting for a space in this community. It's just easier for her because she has the money.
You think every black person has been oppressed?
Yes.
Everyone.
Absolutely. Every black person.
Every single person.
Every black person has faced some type of oppression. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether they realized it or not. Yes, they have. And my thing is there are so many different kinds of oppression. There is microaggressions, there is systematic oppression, there is social oppression. There's just so many different ways that you can feel the effects of racism from people, entities, and things.
But here's my issue again. If a black person comes up to me and says, Brian, I've been oppressed more than you, you're Jewish, without knowing anything about what I've dealt with in my life.
That's the issue.
Hold on. Yeah, without knowing anything about my history, for all he knows, somebody in my family could have been murdered because they're Jewish. I also find it to be very repulsive for somebody to say, and I'm not discounting the black community and the issues that they face on a daily basis. I'm not downplaying that at all. I would never do that. But what I find to be, I don't know what word to use here, insulting to an extent, is somebody saying to me, I've dealt with more hate for you, you're Jewish.
Can I tell you, you're doing that,
I'm
Brian?
black. And again, I go back to what I said earlier to this bill, because that's really what we're talking about. We are talking about $1.2 million. Now, if the issue is black people don't get the same opportunities as white people to get an education, I can tell you right now, 99%. 99% of black people that are, in my opinion, or anybody really, that get a check of $1.2 million, maybe 1 out of 100 will say, geez, I better get that education, I better go back to school. Now, a portion of those people are going to do great things, right? They're going to invest the money, they're going to open up a business, whatever, and that's great. But the overwhelming majority of those people are not going to go to college and get an education if that's the issue.
Can I say this before? Because I don't want to cut you off. That's why I'm asking for permission. I want to say this before you continue to move on to your topic, because I know we're running out of time. Brian, I think a lot of times, first of all, let me say this. Brian, if this was the other way around and this was, again, Germany giving reparations to Jewish people, I would
Same
say,
feeling.
That's fine. I would say, amazing. Congrats. You deserve it. You should right.
I would say you're wrong.
And that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. You should right that wrong. However, you're talking about a specific country and a specific type of people who have affected the Jewish community. And yes, that exact situation is still being prolonged, and people are taking it upon themselves to be Nazis and Jewish killers, and that's horrible. But we have that in every other ethnicity. What you are doing, what you don't realize you are doing, is saying, because I've went through this, I can speak on your community. And my thing is, we don't have
I'm
the
speaking about my community, not yours.
You are speaking on my community.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to explain to you. I personally do not agree that you know what you're saying because you haven't dealt with the exact same experiences as I have. And you like to say that, well, I have. I've had somebody murdered, or I've seen somebody murdered because of my ethnicity.
That's not what I've said. I never said that. I know what it's like to be black. In
No,
fact, I've
no,
said,
you said-
hold on,
what
hold
you
on.
said-
Hear me out.
Real quick.
I'll be very clear.
Okay.
Hear me out.
No worries.
I have never said that I know what it's like to be black. What I do try to do is I
didn't
try
say you
to
said that.
listen to black people and their pathway. And I would never underestimate or devalue a black person telling me the struggles that they've had to
But you
experience.
are
What I
devaluing it,
am,
though.
no, what you're not listening. What I am doing
listening very well.
is saying I'm going by my pathway. And what I am saying is when somebody judges me, not saying what they have to go through, but saying you haven't gone through blah, 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 when they have no idea what I have or haven't gone
Brian,
through.
you
I have a
started-
problem with that.
You started the conversation off talking about your ethnicity and what your ethnicity has been through and what
Well,
happens.
I made the
what
case to
happens-
Nazi Germany and
Yes,
why
yes,
I don't
and
think
he-
Jewish
he-
people
he-
deserve.
He started it. That's the
And
only.
I don't believe that Jewish
That's-
people, and I'm taking my own
That's
life
fine.
experiences.
But my thing is, I would never take a step back and say, "Oh, Jewish people are getting this reparations. What about black people? Because that's a whole different experience with a whole different country with a whole different type of people." That's
It
y'all.
has to do with hatred. It has to do with
hear me out.
judging
Right, which is
people
fine.
because of where
which
they're
is fine,
from.
Which is fine. But my thing is, look at even still, because I want to make two different statements
Quickly, because we
Yes,
got
I got
to
you.
take a break.
When you are being dealt with and you get your wrongs and they're making it right, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for that community. And I will not take my stance and say, well, I'm black, whatever. What I will say is, wait, why is it taking so long for you to do the same thing for black people? Why are we still continuously being pushed back? Because two things can be true. I can be happy for your religion and who you are, and I'm glad that you get the quality you deserve and the equity you deserve. But why are black people still being pushed back further and further and further in politics and reparations and security? That's my biggest issue. And we're talking about, okay, cool, comparing different situations. I don't want to compare my situation to yours because it's not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Okay, well,
it's just not.
Well, while certain situation might not be the same, and we got to get back to the calls, then we got to take a break. I will say throwing $1.2 million at every black person that lives in California is the most outrageous and ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Let's go back to the calls. 702-221-7283. Who do we have next? Michael? Michael's next. Hello, Michael. What's going on?
Well, hello. First time calling in at your new location, but I talked to you and your old, the guy who won't pay off on his debts on your old station there a few times.
Michael, I think I know who you're talking about, my friend.
You said a guy who won't pay off his debts?
Well, you got a regular caller at this station with the same initials. What a coincidence. I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Right.
No. Oh, I thought he meant JC, like JC Fernandez on my favorite morning show on 94 with Mercedes.
JC's a good guy. I know JC. He's a good guy. Very different guy, and I'm sure
I've met him.
And I'm sure JC pays off his debts. Yeah, some people will go on the radio and they'll make. I'm sorry, this is a side note. You got me going. Some people will go on the radio and make a bet about the presidential election with like 20 people, and then when they lose, they don't pay up. Those people are scumbags. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
To be fair, sir, didn't you bet that Melania would have divorced Donald by now? In which case, you lost that one.
No, I gave 4 years. So we.
Oh, 4. I thought you said 2. Never mind.
No, I did 4. So I still got about a year and a half. I very well might lose that bet because Melania is so money hungry. I don't know, but anyway, we'll see.
She's comfortable in her big house there.
You're right about that, sir. So what do you think about this reparations thing?
Well, I'm glad we're in more agreement on this than most issues because you don't say you're liberal, but you seem to disagree with my conservative position about 4 out of 5 times. But that's okay. You can call yourself whatever you want. I'm not going to give you a carp about it. Just saying.
Well, I don't. Well, I mean, I don't. Just to be fair,
we do agree on this.
Just
on
to
this
be fair,
important issue.
I don't. Just to be fair, though, Michael, I don't call myself whatever I want. I am for border security. It is a crisis.
That's good.
I am for capital. Well, in your opinion, it's good, but some people might disagree.
No, we agree on that.
I am for capital punishment. I believe if you rape somebody, you should get the electric chair. I disagree with Republicans today, and I lean to the left on social issues. That doesn't make somebody a liberal. It doesn't even make somebody a Democrat.
You're right. Not
necessarily, it just means that I'm more in the middle than you. That's all. But that's fine. I don't mind.
You're hard to pin down. You're like that guy at the gun shop said, "Don't put me in a box, bro," because you're hard to put in a box, just like that guy.
Yeah, well, that guy. That guy's another buffoon. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna have to go check out his gun store sometime. Shoot some rounds.
Okay.
But I'm good at thinking outside the box. I'm way older. I'm not older than both of you combined. I'm 59, but I've been around a while. And I don't want to sound like one of those white liberals from the 70s says, "Oh, I was supporting civil rights before you were born. I'm Marshall Dr. King." But I can honestly say I saw Roots when it first aired, and I felt so terrible what happened to Kunta Kinte and all the other people in that story. And Eyes on the Prize when it first aired in '93. Learned a lot of stuff I didn't know as a white guy. I'll think outside the box on this one. Here's how we get reparations. It doesn't cost the government hardly anything except for some paperwork. All that federal land that's just sitting there, the government owns, thinks they have a right to own it. Give it away for free. It's a lottery. How many generations you've been here, how black you are, how this, how that. And you get a piece of free federal land. It might be some worthless desert up by Recca Mountain. It might be a nice piece of federal land that you'd want to live on. And then you got a deed to something that you never would have had living in a city working for minimum wage. How's that sound, you guys?
I believe that there's so many different solutions for reparations, and that's a great one. There's many ways you can help out different communities. Personally, my stance is that there are already reparations given out to other ethnicities. This isn't anything new. And if we're looking at $1.2 trillion, that is a lot. However, there's no true rules and regulations behind this yet. That's just the basis of this bill. There's going to be more things behind this bill, and that's the biggest issue behind us all.
I appreciate your call, sir, and I appreciate you finding the new show over here. Thank you, Michael, for the phone call. Appreciate you. 702-221-7283. And again, that number 702-221-7283. Do we have anybody else on the line? We're good to go. Okay. Well, last one. We'll go to Carl. Carl, what's going on?
Yeah, Brian, Jamie, listen, I want to direct this to Jamie. I think you know where my expertise lies. And what's going to happen if these reparations are paid out? The people who are racist anyway and who hate the white people who hate black people are going to hate them anyway, and they might even hate them more. But here's what's going to happen. Racism is going to skyrocket. I'll tell you why. Because 90-something% of this country is middle class or lower middle class. And they're white, of the white population, is middle class or lower middle class. And if they see reparations of $1 million or more, whatever it is, going to black people, they're going to psychologically resent it. And they're going to start to hate those people. And you're going to see racism increase tremendously.
Well, Carl, I know where you're going with that, and I appreciate the call.
Yeah, that's a great opinion you have, Carl, but that's already happening. Look at food stamps. Look at Social Security. Look at unemployment checks. There's a lot of Caucasian people out there that hate African American people for being on those different resources and gaining from those resources. So this won't be anything new.
All I would add to that is the overwhelming majority of people, there are also a lot of white people around that are on those same governmental programs. That would be the difference here. Obviously, you're not going to have white people getting $1.2 million in California. I don't think this bill is going to pass. I'll be very clear. I don't think it has enough support to pass. But hey, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I would say you never know. You never know. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I love having this guy on, and it's a perfect time because, we're getting to the weekend, a lot of tourists in town. Maybe you're a local gambler and you're losing a lot of money. Anthony Curtis is a wizard when it comes to gambling. You don't want to play in a blackjack tournament against Anthony, and by the way, you also don't want to be in a Vegas Golden Knights pass the puck contest at Jackson's against Anthony Curtis. I'll talk about that when we come back. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Do you want to take your business to the next level? Then join one of the fastest growing talk shows, Pushing the Limits. We have a wide range of sales packages that can fit your budget. Anything from on-site live remotes to in-studio interviews. Email Jamie. JamieD@KSHP.com. That's JAIME, capital DEE, @KSHP.com.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though, Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
The world-famous radio shopping show, weekdays on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas and KSHP.com.
Welcome back. It's Pushing the Limits on a very beautiful Thursday. I was just telling Jamie you should have stayed in California. You could have been a millionaire.
I'm not a resident, though.
Reparations. So. You could have been a millionaire. Then come out here and move after you get your $1.2 million check. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I want to tell you guys about my favorite gaming bar in town, which is Jackson's Bar and Grill. It's located at Flamingo and Jones. And I got to tell you, man, they got some great promotions. Tomorrow, if you earn 1,500 points, you get $100 in free slot play the following day on Saturday. On Wednesdays, a chance to win up to $3,000 spinning the wheel. Earn 200 points, you get to spin the wheel. Earn another 300 points, you get to spin the wheel again. Jackson's Bar and Grill, and I know the guy in studio with us right now is also a big fan of Jackson's. I see him there all the time. I'm talking about Las Vegas Advisor's very own. Professional gambler his whole life. Blackjack, card counter. He's played blackjack on blackjack teams with some of the best blackjack players in the world. He won a lot of money. He did pretty well for himself. He came out here with nothing, and he's made quite a career for himself. Of course, I'm talking about the book publisher, professional gambler extraordinaire, Anthony Curtis, joining us right now in studio. Anthony, it is good to see you, my friend. How are
Anthony?
you?
Hey, good to see y'all.
This is perfect because Jamie's new to Vegas, right? He knows almost nothing about gambling, I think that's a fair thing to say, right, Jamie?
I literally know nothing.
You don't even know what blackjack, as far as like any strategy or you don't know because you've never been here. You don't gamble, which I understand. So I guess that would be my first. This is like up Anthony's alley. This is his expertise. What is the first advice you'd give to somebody like a Jamie who wants to learn but doesn't know anything about gambling?
Well, the main thing is that you want to play table games above machines because it's all about speed. The casino's got the edge in almost every game. Speed kills. The faster you go, the more you lose. So you want to stay away from things like
that's what my
slots
dates tell
so
me
forth.
too, by the way.
Yeah. But you want to play the table games. You want to play at tables where there's other people. And that's funny. Most new people, newbies, they don't want to play with others. They're afraid that they're going to do something dumb. But you really can't. You just you go along with it. You play more slowly. The casino edge works lesser on you. Now this is a different situation. When we're talking about an expert who's counting cards or an expert who has some other method of winning in a situation, then you want to play as fast as you can because you flip the script.
Right.
So, but for a beginner, you want to play at tables. You want to play, do a little reading, watch people play, watch them play blackjack. Go down to the Downtown Grand or Oyo where they got dollar table. Play $1 a hand.
Joker's wild.
Yeah, man.
How did you get your start?
I started when I was in high school. I played a lot of games.
Okay.
I was just
I played a lot of games in high school too, but we won't go into that.
Well, I was a Polish family. We played cards, we played board games, everything else. And apparently somebody recognized I had an aptitude, for numbers and understanding probability. Gave me a book on blackjack when I was in 11th grade. I read it and I went, I can do this.
Right.
I get it. The light went off and I said, I can get it. And I just started studying. Because that was going to be my next thing. You get a good beginner's book on the game so you know the rudiments. You learn something called basic strategy. It takes about 6 hours to learn how to play your cards right. And you can have a good time for a low amount of money. You really can. You're going to be, as a beginner, you're going to be an underdog. You're going to lose money over time, but you're not going to lose a lot of money.
So before we get to, because I know Jamie's going to have a lot of questions for you about gambling, I have to bust your balls a little bit when it comes to a local contest here at Jackson's, which is called Pass the Puck Contest. And in that contest, if you get a 4 of a kind on a machine, and you're the only person that has that, they give you a puck. And at the end of the period, if nobody else takes the puck away from you and gets a 4 of a kind, you win, $100 in free slot play, right? I swear to God, Anthony is just killing it over there. How many of those have you won?
I've won a bunch.
Wait, how do you even get the puck? How do you take the puck away from somebody else?
You got to be playing either video poker and you hit a 4 of a kind, which happens about once in every 440 hands.
And that's how you take the puck from somebody else?
Yes, and that's how you take it. Or you're playing Keno, and I think you get a $100 payoff on Keno.
Okay, so my question is, be honest with me, is it rigged? Is it just rigged when you walk in there, you're going to win? That's what I want to know.
Well, I know I got an edge.
How do you have an edge? Explain that to me.
Because I've deconstructed that promotion, and I look at it and I see how it should be played. And it's, what happens is as you get closer to the end, you should be playing faster and faster. Or you should be playing multi-hands. You should be doing anything you can do within the rules. Now, where it's rigged, where it can be rigged, is people cheat on that promotion a lot.
How do they do that?
What they do is they hit a quad. They'll hit their 4 of a kind, and they don't announce it.
Oh, so you just sit on it, and you don't tell the bartender.
Yeah, and they wait until there's 30 seconds left or something.
That's cheating.
Yeah, that's cheating. And
Why is it cheating? Because you're the announcer right when it comes?
Yeah, you should announce. You're supposed to announce it when you hit it. And what they do is they'll hit it, and they'll hit and sit. That's what we call it, hit and sit. And you kind of have to watch who you're playing against. And if you see a person who's playing like crazy and all of a sudden they're not playing, you kind of walk around and take a look, to see what's going on. And, sometimes it leads to something like, hey, you can't do that.
So how many times have you cheated? No, I'm just kidding.
Never. You know what? This is the truth. I like the integrity of those things to stay good. And I've never done it. I have never done it. Never will. It's the same.
I believe you.
It's the same thing when we were playing.
I don't know if Brian Slipok does, but I believe you.
Well, when we were playing professionally, we did the same thing. We would never cheat. We would never do anything outside the lines. We would never do anything that was illegal. One is, some of us just had that kind of integrity, and others of us just didn't want to go to jail. Right. So, we would always stay on the right side of the law. But with this one, this one is we wrote it in my newsletter, Las Vegas Advisor. We wrote about it, and we call it the dirty promo because it's abused a lot. And the only way you can really stop it is to, sort of police it yourself, or to have the frontline bartenders watch. But they don't have time.
They don't have time.
They don't have time for that.
Do you feel like there are other promotions in town where you can give me examples of where people can cheat?
Yes. And I mean, the way they cheat, the way they do it is they use multiple cards. All right. So most promotions are based on you using your player's card. And so what they will do is they will get multiple cards in different names. Maybe they'll bring friends in, maybe they have different IDs. And they will, instead of playing it one time, where let's say you play 100 and you get $20 free. Well, that's positive. Your expected loss playing $100 through and the 20 is only about maybe $6 or $7. And you're going to get 20. So you're going to make $13 every time you play that promo. So some guys will come in with anywhere from 5 to 15 cards, play it 15 times, and you're doing pretty good.
That's interesting.
And you're cheating. You're stealing from the bar. And I've never done that either. I've never done it once.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you can go around Las Vegas and you can find certain games where you can take advantage of what they're doing, and we don't want people to do that unless it's legal, right? I mean,
Right.
Card counting is legal. It's not illegal, but a casino has the right to kick you out for anything. A business has the right to kick you out for anything. It's their private. Obviously, you can't discriminate against people, but if they don't want your business, they can say, bye-bye.
Well, they
See
are
you later.
discriminating. They're discriminating against smart people or educated people.
That's true.
And I mean, that's always been the argument, is that this is a form of discrimination. But, but you're right. They do have the right to do it. And they're not in business to let you beat them. So when they, that's why in blackjack there's science and art. The science is learning how to do it. The art is getting away with it.
So I know that you're not allowed to play blackjack in virtually any casino in Las Vegas, but let's just say you're in a casino, I don't know, in Canada. Would they catch you? Are you black booked there?
Well, I am, but mine's different. The reason for me is because I did so much TV. All right, so because I went into publishing, it was really in my best interest to do shows like yours. Shows like yours that go all over the world, mega shows where I'm going to get all this PR from the Shapiro show. You know what I mean? It's like in my best interest. But we did a lot of TV like this. I did a lot of TV.
You're on the Travel Channel.
Yeah,
I saw you everywhere. Yeah.
I did card counting demonstrations. I was on a Learning Channel. I was on Discovery. I was on all that stuff. And I would talk about the math of blackjack. So, my mug's been on TV. So I get picked off wherever I go. Yeah. But other people know. Other people didn't get away with it until they get caught.
How many casinos in your career have you been kicked out of?
Told not to ever come back, none.
Really?
But told not to play blackjack, 30, 40, just don't, you can't play here anymore.
So explain to me how this works. You're at the blackjack table, and this is after you knew that, people were onto you because you're counting cards. What happens? Explain to me the process. Does the pit boss come over to you? What happens?
What happens is you see activity in a pit. All right, you see things going on in the back that wouldn't normally be going on. Because no offense to pit bosses, but they kind of like to just stand around and do nothing and try to pick up on chicks.
That's sounds like a great job.
That's basically their move,
Yeah.
But if all of a sudden you see they're on the phone and all of a sudden they take a glance toward you, then that means maybe somebody upstairs, in the sky has seen something that they don't like. So we call that heat. All right, and you feel heat. So you start to prepare your exit right then. And if you're smart, you just get out. And if you want to push the envelope, you stick around and you see what happens. And then sometimes you get confronted by security guards. Sometimes they'll try to take you in the back room and detain you. Various things. In the old days, they could pound on you in the back. I would never go to the back room. I refused. My entire career, I never went in the back room. As soon as I saw heat, I get my chips together. I get ready to go. And if I had to run, I'd run. I had everything to do.
Anybody chase you?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, they'll chase you.
Wait, so has anybody grabbed you and tried to get you to go back to the back room?
Mm-hmm.
And what do? You just fight for your freedom?
No,
Let me go.
You just put your hand and say, don't touch. I'm leaving. You touch me, I'm calling my attorney immediately, that sort of thing. And they really don't know what to do. And then they'll do something like this. They'll go, well, we're going to detain you because we're going to call Metro. I go, great, call Metro. Right. Call Metro. I didn't break a law. You call Metro. I know the law better than you know the law, apparently. You call Metro, and you're the one that's going to get yelled at. And they look at each other, and they have a powwow, and they go, get that out of here,
Yeah. And that's how many times has that happened to you?
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
God, yeah, because you're not breaking the law. Again, I repeat, this is very important. Card counting is not breaking the law. Now, if you're using a device, like in the movie Casino, have you known people in your life that have done that have used devices at the blackjack table?
Absolutely.
Can you explain that? Like, what kind of devices?
Yeah, people use computers. And, they'll use computers, not so much at blackjack, because, you can count with your brain. You can count with your brain. You don't need a computer to tell you how to play perfectly. A computer will tell you how to play a little bit better, but you don't gain that much for it. So, the risk to reward isn't really there.
But you're not allowed to have a piece of paper and rewriting stuff down, right? They don't want you to do
technically, a pencil is a device, technically.
Really?
Technically, a basic strategy card would be called a device. They don't ever call you on it. They let people play with them and stuff because you can't beat them with that.
Wait, so can we take a step back? Because I know you guys had a little personal conversation about this, but I want to just learn a little bit more personally. You gamble in many different forms, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your favorite form of gambling?
Well, anything with an edge.
Okay.
Because
what does that mean? Edge?
An edge, that means, when you go to a casino and you play any game as what a professional would call you, a civilian. All right, so you go as a civilian and you play any game, the casino is going to have an edge over you, whatever that engineered edge is. So it's, for instance, let's say you're playing roulette. It's 00 roulette. It's 5.26. It's a fact. And if you play over time, for every 100 you wager, you're going to lose $5.26. So they have the edge over you. Now, if you can do things like count cards in blackjack or play other games, video poker with progressive meters that are high enough, things like that, you flip-flop that edge. So you get to a point where it's break even, and it's like even between you and the house, and then it gets to a point where you actually have the advantage. So you say you have the edge at that point. So what a professional will do is he will analyze every opportunity he comes across, put it into a mathematical equation. At the end of the equal sign, if there's a plus at the end, then he will. If there's a minus at the end, that means the casino has the edge, and you walk away.
But where do you see this plus and minus at?
Well, this is it's called an expected value equation. What you do is you take all the numbers of the game and put it into an equation. You have to know how to do it.
Sir, I want to throw up. What? This is so much. You learned this over all these years?
Yeah, and
wow.
you allow yourself to look at the end of that answer, and it's nothing but algebra. It's just algebra at that point, and you allow yourself to say, is it minus or plus? If it's minus, I walk away. If it's plus, then I go to step 2 and say, how plus is it? And do I have a plus here and a plus here?
Oh, you can ask.
Yeah. Oh, well, no. You ask yourself.
Oh, okay.
And you've got, I've looked at 2 or 3 propositions, and they're all plus. Which one can I make the most money at with the least exposure?
Okay.
And that's the one you play. That's how it works.
So
and it's funny because you do that in life.
Yeah.
You do that in life. I mean, when you're, I knew this guy once that he had a date, and his tooth fell out. And he was trying to figure out
don't do it.
if he should call the date off or not. So this is an expected value equation. See, it happens all the time.
Wait, okay, explain. What do you mean? Keep going.
Well, he was making a joke about my situation.
Yeah.
Oh, he was? Oh, I thought you were being
that
serious.
Was a joke.
I was so interested. Why did it go over my head?
Right over your head.
You should have saw my face. I'm like, I really want to know. Tell me more.
No, I am being serious because I'm saying.
I know he was.
He has to make that decision about, do I go out with a big gap in my tooth, or do I delay going out with this girl and take the chance?
How was that an algebra question, though?
Well,
at the end of the night, are you going to get lucky or not? If I have the
because you could actually put numbers to it.
You could
say, by me going out with this girl, the chance of me seeing her again is 15%.
Yeah.
But if I wait a week, the chance of me seeing her again is 55%.
Oh, so you're wagering your probability by understanding the outcome of if you had something or if you didn't.
Correct.
Yeah, and you have to assign those variables.
But what if he comes in with a fresh haircut, a new outfit, he just got swag?
Yeah, see, and then
Tooth or not. Brian got it.
Goes up.
Brian got it. You should see him with the ladies.
Let's talk about charting. Charting tables. I've heard stories of groups of people that chart roulette tables, meaning, and for those of you who don't know what that means, you sit there for days and days and weeks, and in some cases even months, and you have people write down every single number that pops up on a roulette wheel, which is excruciating, by the way. Mm-hmm. But then there are things called bias wheels, where if you chart a roulette game long enough, there will be a wheel, and there's a higher probability that it'll land on certain numbers because of maybe a small indentation in the wheel, whatever the case may be. And I've heard some people have made millions of dollars doing this. It's extremely rare, and it's harder to find these days than it was 20 years ago. Can you tell me about charting, and does it actually work?
Well, we actually called it clocking. All right, so some call it charting, some call it clocking.
Yeah.
And it worked, and a lot of people made a lot of money a long time ago, because now the equipment is so good and so precise, and you do not find these bias wheels. But back in, way back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the wheels, they would let them run forever and ever and ever, and certain places would get worn, and there actually was a bias on that, or a fret would be loose or something, and the ball would be more likely to fall into that and not bounce out. And after a period of time, X number of hundreds of, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of charting or clocking, you would get something that was statistically valid, and you could start to play that. I know a guy who did it in Monte Carlo, and he was a famous, they call them wheel watchers. And he found a wheel at Monte Carlo, and he was betting $25 straight up on this one number and winning and winning and winning. And they weren't onto what he was doing yet. And they asked him if he wanted, lunch or dinner at this gourmet restaurant in Monte Carlo. He goes, yes, but I don't want to stop. He goes, while I'm eating dinner, bet $25 for me on this number every time. Just keep doing it. And they did. They kept doing it while he was eating dinner. He's making more money until they finally got onto what he did. And it's a true story. And it's, it's a cat and mouse game. And, they did it until they were caught. And then the casino takes a countermeasure, and then you go against them, and, you go back and forth.
Another form of, and by the way, I don't consider that cheating at all. But
I don't either.
But I am going to bring up a form now that is cheating, and it's called dice sliding.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a story, Anthony, and I'm sure you probably heard this one too. This was like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Group of 3 people walk into the Wynn, and they play dice. And they're playing for a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're cheating. They're sliding the dice. And my understanding is several dealers and several pit bosses were fired. They walked away with something along the lines of $600,000. I could be wrong on that. I read the story a while ago. And they were cheating, and nobody really caught on to them, and they were able to cash out. They were able to cash out of the table and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're banned from playing there ever again, and they're probably black booked. But they were able to leave. Can you arrest somebody for sliding dice?
I don't think so.
You're not using a.
I don't know that answer,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. But remember, we go back to what I said earlier: science and art. So these guys, they had the science down. They were able to slide the dice, and you don't slide 2 dice. You only slide one. Yeah,
Right.
one tumbles
Which is
like
an enormous advantage.
Yeah, I mean,
enormous.
Sure. If you know it's going to be a 6 or a 1 or whatever,
If I know it's a 6, I'm playing the don't, and I'm laying the 4, 5, and 6, and you literally can't lose.
all kinds of stuff. You want to throw a prop on boxcars, whatever
Right,
you want to do there. You
right.
want to throw a prop on yo?
Well, yeah, because boxcars or yo, you have a 1 in 6 chance of hitting it, and the odds are like what, 30 to 1.
Yeah, that's what they're paying you.
Yeah,
so it's when an expert dice slider is a thing of beauty to behold. I mean, because,
people that can do that.
And
Wow.
it's
Wow.
fabulous because the one that slides tends to spin on its side, and it almost looks like it's tumbling. And meanwhile, the other one's jumping all over the table. It's hard to pick it off if the guy really knows what he's doing.
Without giving out any names, these people do they still do it?
Well, the one who showed me the most is a guy named Steve Forty. And, Steve Forty, for me, there are the two greatest advantage play gamblers of all time is Steve Forty and a guy named James Grosjean. I'm doing a book by Grosjean right now. We're publishing
Really?
a book. Yeah, it's about to come out. But Steve Forty used to show me how he would slide the dice. I knew other dice sliders, but Steve's the one who demonstrated it to me. And it was just spectacular what he could do. And they would kill it against the puck, down there. And it was really amazing
How
what these guys could
accurate
do.
are they when they do slide the dice? How often does it actually slide on the number they want it to? How accurate do you think they are?
I think they're very accurate. I mean, I never asked specifically the question, and I was never involved with any of those plays.
I bet it's fairly easy to learn if you have a little bit of
I don't
eye-hand
think so.
coordination. Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Is
I
it hard?
think it's very difficult. I think these guys are masters of what
Okay.
they can do with their hands. I think they're really something.
That's
What I watched him do, I was like, I wouldn't even try that. It was just amazing.
That's incredible. What a way to make money. All right, so here's what I want to do with you, Anthony. Obviously, I want to talk about a lot of the books that you publish. I want to talk about Las Vegas Advisor. I want to get into that. But when we come back, I want to ask you about quote-unquote weak dealers. Taking advantage of dealers that are not very good at their job.
Sure.
I have a few stories to tell you. I know you have a few stories, and I want to talk a little bit about that because there's a lot of big gamblers in this town that I've talked to that take advantage of weak dealers. And what I mean by weak, I don't mean like not strength, like can't bench press. That's not what I mean by weak. So we'll talk about that when we come back next. He is Anthony Curtis from Las Vegas Advisor, lifelong professional gambler. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Do you want to take your business to the next level? Then join one of the fastest growing talk shows, Pushing the Limits. We have a wide range of sales packages that can fit your budget. Anything from on-site live remotes to in-studio interviews. Email Jamie. JamieD at KSHP.com. That's JAIME, capital DEE at KSHP.com.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit SapphirePoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at Sahara West Urgent Primary Care, located at Sahara and Jones, right down the street from the station. No appointment needed. I tell you, it's the best urgent care facility I've been to, and I've been in Vegas for 20 years. Maybe not as long as Anthony, but I've been here a while. And I was in and out of there in 20 minutes. Andrew and Jessica will take care of you. I promise you they will. They took care of me. Give them a call, 702-248-0554. You can visit them online at SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. They take most insurances, and if you don't have insurance, it's only a $95 payment. How cool is that? Sahara West Urgent Primary Care. Please check them out. Joining us in studio is Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas advisor, longtime professional gambler, a wealth of knowledge when it comes to gambling, that is for sure. In fact, he was telling me he took the Miami Heat yesterday, which was a very good play. Jimmy Butler just went off yesterday, didn't he? I mean,
Again.
Just went crazy yesterday.
Again, that dude can play. Man.
I got to tell you one thing, though, and I still like the Celtics to win the series. I still do. And now's the time to get on them.
Yeah,
minus 215 is not a bad price.
I like them too. I'm not going to bet it, but I like them too. I like the Nuggets all the way, man. I like Denver.
See, a lot of people say that, and you're a pretty good sports bettor. I have a funny feeling that maybe the Lakers take game 2. I don't know, but I certainly don't like the way they played the other night. They were trotting back on defense in the first half. They didn't have the intensity you need, especially in the Western Conference Finals. I was very disappointed with the effort. It was nice to see them come back a little bit and show some fight, and maybe that will lead to a little bit of momentum in game 2. But yeah, I don't like the way they played in game 1. I really don't like the way the Celtics were played in the second half. That surprised me a lot, but that was a good. You took the points, not the money line?
Yeah, I mean, I took 9. I mean, it went up to 9. I took it.
Wow, that's a lot of points.
I did not in any way expect that they were going to win the game outright, but 9 is a lot.
Well, you got a coach that's inexperienced against a coach that's been there forever. Spoelstra's a really good coach. This kid, and that's what he is. He's young. He's never really been in this situation before. He hasn't as an assistant, not as a head coach. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But big game tonight. I think we all could agree. This is a big one tonight. Lakers, I'd call it maybe it's not a must-win, but I think it sort of is. You can't go down 2-0. Then all Denver has to do is win one of the next 2 games in L.A., and the series is virtually over.
Maybe go watch it at Jackson's.
I'm going to be in Laughlin, but Jackson's is a great. They don't have a pass the basketball at Jackson's.
No,
maybe,
they don't. They don't.
They do have a pass the puck.
I'll tell you one more thing about Jackson's because I love that place too, man. They got some food. Man, they got some
great food.
Really good. That ribeye special is as good as it gets.
Phenomenal food. Before we get to weak dealers and some more questions, gambling in general, I do want to bring up Doyle Brunson, and I didn't do this earlier in the week. And the reason why I didn't bring up some stories is because Doyle had just passed away. It was really fresh. And, condolences to his friends and family. I think his son is a complete jerk, Todd Brunson, and I can give you so many stories about him. But I've heard so many stories from professional poker players that have either played with Doyle or know Doyle very well, cheating stories. Stories that Doyle, over the years, cheated and took advantage of people at the table. What have you heard about Doyle? Because that's what I've heard.
Well, all of the old-time gamblers. I mean, Doyle Brunson, Chip Reese, Dewey Tomko, a lot of these guys, they were known kind of like as crossroaders. And I think there was a lot of that going on. I know there was a lot of that going on. And, I wasn't there, so I would never say specifically, I know per se that this guy did it, because I didn't know Doyle Brunson. I've been in the same room with him, but I've maybe shook his hand once or twice. That's it. And I don't really know, but I know it was going on like crazy. And I've certainly, his name has come up many times as, a participant. Puggy Pearson, all these guys, Titanic Thompson, Slim, Amarillo Slim, all these guys. That's how they got to where they were. They might have been pretty good poker players or very good, but they got the money the way they got the money.
And it's interesting, right? Poker's weird because it's like you talk about Doyle, who I believe has 10 World Series of Poker bracelets, and he won a few with a lot of players. But the majority of the bracelets that he won, and this goes for most of these guys with over 10 World Series of Poker bracelets, Doyle won the main event when there were like 200 or 300 people in the main event.
Right.
All due respect, yeah, when you win a tournament with 300 people, congratulations. I've won tournaments with more than 300 people. Does that make me, Texas Dolly? I mean, it's a myth when they say all the best poker players in the world always make the final table. That is a lie.
Yeah.
Especially today when you have upwards of 7,000, 8,000 people in the main event. It's a joke. We don't have the same faces at the final table. And I think that a lot of these poker players, are extremely overrated. They wouldn't have a huge advantage against the guy playing 2-5 no limit for a living at the Bellagio right now. I just think it's extremely overrated.
Yeah, well, tournament poker is a different animal as well, where these guys are often staked. People give them money to play, and it's not necessarily even theirs. But here's where I give Doyle Brunson credit. He knew how to leverage his fame. And when he got well known for doing the things that he did, not to mention Super System, the book Super System, which he didn't write most of, but still he came out with one of the first credible great poker books along with David Sklansky, and he kind of knew how to do it. I give these people credit. There's a guy named Jeff Ma, who played on the MIT blackjack team. And Jeff wasn't the team leader or anything like that, but Jeff's the guy who hooked up with the guy who wrote the book Bringing Down the House and turned into the movie 21 and was able to leverage and capitalize on that celebrity. So I see a lot of that in Doyle Brunson, that he became, quote, Texas Dolly and all of this, and he played it to the hilt, and he did a good job with it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, I want to do a little rapid-fire questions here because Jamie is, of course, new to Vegas, very new to gambling. So Jamie, rapid fire, give give him some questions, and you'll get your answers.
Oh, you want me to do it now?
Yeah,
Okay.
do some rapid fire here.
Okay, so actually, I want to start off with this one.
Is this a test?
Let's go. So I want to start off with this because you guys talk often about cheating. Is there any cheating rules that you think technically isn't cheating as it pertains to gambling?
A rule that's on the book that I think isn't cheating.
Yeah, but it technically is cheating. Considered, by
no,
board.
because these things have a lot of these things. For instance, here's a real good one for you: hole carding. All right, hole carding is when you are positioned in a certain way where you have a sloppy dealer, and where does the dealer get his advantage? The dealer gets his advantage because, well, he plays last, but also you can't see his hole card. If you can see the hole card, you have an enormous edge, something on the order of close to 10%. Sure. So if you can see that hole card, it's great for you, and that has gone through the courts. And is it cheating or is it not cheating? People have been caught and maybe backroomed over it, maybe hurt over it, maybe had their money taken back.
And you don't
from
consider it cheating?
No, because it's gone through the courts, and the court has deemed it not cheating. That it is not.
Right, but are there any rules currently that are saying this is cheating that you don't agree with?
No, because like I say, I agree with whatever has gone through the courts, and and no, there's nothing I look at and go, that's really unfair. And I mean, maybe it'll come to me by the end of the show, but right now, not one thing comes to mind where I go, it's not fair that they call that cheating.
Well, do you feel like you're being treated unfairly because you're banned from playing blackjack in certain areas?
Yeah, but it's part of the game.
Why do you feel like that's unfair though, if it's part of the game?
Well, because like I say, because we're being, they're biased because we can beat them. So it's like, okay, we only want stupid people. We only want to play against people we can get their money. Now, that's kind of creepy, but I don't think it's necessarily unfair. I mean, if I'm going to play against somebody in anything, you're a pretty big dude. I don't think I want to play basketball against you. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, I suck at basketball, so you probably might beat me.
Well, whatever. But you know what?
Brian could legit beat me. Not at tennis, though.
What I'm saying is part of the game. Part of the game is being able to pick your opponents right and that sort of thing. So I don't hate them. I don't hate them for it. No, I don't.
What's your advice you would give to a newbie like me who wants to start gambling?
Slow. Like I said, go slow. And
Brian has yelled at me for that because I started video poker and I'm going so fast. He's like, slow down.
Yeah, I've my girlfriend likes to play, and she plays fast. And I tell her, I go, your hair's not on fire. What are you doing? Your hair's not on fire. And so a week later, I'm sitting there, and she's just sitting there in front of the machine doing nothing. I go, what are you doing? She goes, Anthony says I have to take a break. Anthony says I have to take a break. So, I would say slower, and invest in a little bit of reading, man. I mean, buy one of our books, I mean, read a book that tells you how to play properly. The book we got coming out from Grove Street, it's about the carnival games. They call them carny games. These are games like Caribbean Stud Poker, 3-Card Poker, Mississippi Stud, Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And the civilians, as we call them out there, are playing these games at double-digit disadvantages, sometimes over 20%. They're giving up the way they play these games. They're giving up over 20% to the house. In this book, which we're selling for $29.95, there are basic strategies that drop that 20%. And these are like, learn these 3 rules, learn these 6 rules that drop that 20% to under 5%. So you just get a little bit of knowledge.
So talk to me about individuals like me who feel as though they don't have enough money to even gamble. What would you say to people like myself?
Don't gamble.
Get more money.
Those were the 2 best answers right there.
You think so?
Don't gamble.
But I know a lot of people who gamble the last little bit and make so much.
Let me interject, because this is what he does, and that can help people like you. He has this booklet of coupons, right, that you have to pay for to get a membership. Talk to people like Jamie. You need to know about this. These coupons where you don't have to have a lot of money to use the coupons.
Yeah, because I still want to enjoy it and have fun.
Yeah,
I know how to tell myself stop, though, so I ain't going to spend my money, but I don't have, but still I want to enjoy it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what happens to people when they move to Vegas. They look at gambling as a solution to certain monetary problems. Like, let's say that they haven't quite got their rent, and, they'll go to a table, and they'll like completely not have their rent when it's over. Yeah. Every once in a while it'll go their way and they'll make it, and that's probably a bad thing. What happened to me when I first came to town, I thought I was the crap, man. I thought I was the crap. I could do it, and I lost everything I had in 3 days.
Oh no!
And that was probably maybe the best thing that ever happened to me, because I realized it's something called variance. It's something that variance is. It's even though you have an edge, there are ups and downs, and it can go wrong for a long time. When I was on a plane once with Penn Gillette, and we started talking about blackjack, and he started screaming at me that it doesn't work. I'm like, no, it does work, but I said it can go wrong for days at a time, weeks at a time, months at a time. But over time, it will work. But if you're, same thing. If you're playing at a disadvantage, you can win a little bit, but over time you're going to lose, and you're going to lose everything you have if you keep going. So you've got to keep it all in perspective and not try to use gambling as a cure.
That makes sense. Well, talk to me about how we could keep ourselves from being obsessed with that high of winning.
Well, that's different with everybody else. With every different person, because how do you keep yourself from getting tied to booze or drugs or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Gambling is a thing that can get you. What Brian would brought up, which I didn't, elaborate on, is we do a newsletter called Las Vegas Advisor, and in the Las Vegas Advisor, we talk about things. Where are the good deals? Where is the better game? How do you play this game? And it comes with it's $50 a year to join, and it comes with a coupon book that we call Member Rewards.
Oh, that
and it's got like 100 coupons in there for 2-for-1s for buffets, 2-for-1s at the
and
the
Anthony,
shows.
I just want to interject what you're real quickly. I was watching the first time I saw Anthony on TV. It was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 20 years ago. It was the Travel Channel. And Anthony, I think he dedicated an entire episode, and he's bringing a tourist with him, a lady with him, and they're taking advantage of all the promos and coupons they have. And it was fun because you go into one casino, all right, we're up $15 here, let's get out of here, let's go to the next casino.
Nice.
And then they added up all their money. Hey, we're up 100.
So you're like a mentor.
Well, I mean,
But he took advantage of all the promos. If you sign up for a card, you get this, you get that.
That's a good thing.
And they went to all the casinos and did it, and I thought it was so cool because
That's awesome.
yeah, it was fun to watch.
I want to do it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's called a coupon run.
Okay.
And what happened there was Travel Channel called me up and they said, "Can you do something like that? Can you guarantee us that we will win money if we go with you?" I go, "Well, I can guarantee it one way. If we do it, we play all coupons. We do a coupon run. It's virtually guaranteed." And that's what we did. And it was great. People always remember because I found a dime on the floor, and I go, "It's everything counts." And I picked up the dime, right, and it just played right to the theme of the whole thing.
Now today, the coupons and the sign-up bonuses are not as good as they used to be. Like back in the day, I think you can speak more on this.
Yep.
It was incredible. And today, it's like you're lucky if you sign up for a card, they might give you like a $20 match play, or they might give you like $5 in free slot play. But back 20 years ago, it was very different.
Yeah, well, that's how I, 35 years ago, when I came here and I lost all my money in a few days, that's how I made it. I discovered coupons. I discovered match play coupons, and I would go every day on a coupon run, and I would know exactly where to go when it was lunchtime to get the free popcorn and the 25-cent hot dog and all that stuff. And you just live off the land. That's essentially what you're doing.
Explain to Jamie your typical, even today, promotion when you've never walked into a casino before or you've never signed up for a player's card. Explain to him today how you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, typically you could go to a bar and let's see, Jackson's is one.
Yep.
That you go there and you say, "Here's my ID. I want a player's card." You put that card in. You play $100 through. That means just play the 100, and you win and lose and win and lose and win and lose, and you might lose. You could lose a little bit there, but usually you don't lose too much. And all of a sudden, pop, they bang $20 onto your machine. So you're getting, like I said earlier, you might have an expected loss after that equation I was talking about. You might have an expected loss of about $4 or $5, but they're giving you 20. So you do that enough times, and you're going to make 15 here and 15 there and 15 there, and you do it 7 times in a day, and you made over $100.
Yeah. Or and another one that I'm sure you can speak to is something called a match play coupon, where in some places they'll give you, say, a $10 match play coupon. What does that mean? It means you put up $10 of your own money. And let's just say you play a blackjack hand. Normally, if you win that hand, you would get $10. But if you show them the coupon, you win double that.
Yeah.
You would win $20.
Right.
A match play or a casino match play.
And you're basically, we're
yeah.
talking about casinos having edges of anywhere from 1% to maybe 15% on a slot. When you're playing with a match play, you got about a 40% edge over
Huge.
that.
Now, they only
can't
give you
beat
one usually.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the thing with the LVA, with the Las Vegas Advisor. Member Rewards has over $400 worth of match play in it.
That's cool.
And that's you can fashion.
I got to get
your
my
own
hands on
coupon
one of
run
those.
after
That's
that.
pretty darn cool. So even what if you already have a player's card though? Will they still give you the coupon to use?
Yeah, we with
that's cool.
LVA we insist that it cannot be new members only. It always has to be good for everybody.
Aren't they afraid of somebody making those coupons up? Like
they did. They did, and we have to come up with, we had to hire a private investigator once who tracked it all the way down to South America, where these were so valuable that they were counterfeiting them.
Wow.
Wait, so you're the one who makes these coupons, or you get it from somewhere, another resource?
No, we get the casinos to agree to it.
Okay.
And then we create them in a booklet,
okay,
in a bound booklet, and all over the booklet it says must be detached in the presence of a casino employee, because that makes it much harder for them to counterfeit, because now they've got to do a whole book, and they can't. It's hard, and they don't do that.
So I heard another story, Anthony, that I saw on television, and I believe, I don't know if they live in Vegas anymore, but there were people that were recreating chips. So they had this warehouse where they were making their own casino chips and then cashing them in. And they were very successful with it until they told the wrong people. Did you hear about this story, and what do you make of this? Because I'm sure this has happened a lot, stories that maybe we haven't even heard of.
Oh, yeah, there are all kinds of those things going on. And I mean, and they're a lot of them were what they call slugs, slot machine slugs, where they're just, kind of worthless pieces of metal that you would put in, and the machine would recognize it as $1. And so, they would put these slugs in. And I mean, I've heard stories of them opening up machines to take the money out, and it's nothing but worthless, metal. Because that's.
But wouldn't you be able to easily catch those people, because you're going to have video of it, right?
Well, they use what they call blockers and things like that. They stake it out. They look and see where the cameras are.
Wow.
They have people in front of them. I've got buddies whose parents and uncles and things like that were crossroaders, and they got what's called turned out. They were turned out by their own family as blockers, saying, look, the first thing you're going to do, here's what we're doing. You'll do this eventually, but right now you're going to stand here and drink a beer and get in the way of the cameras. And I mean, these are.
But I heard a story of people a couple people in Vegas, and again, I don't know if they're here still, but they actually took casino chips. And they had a little warehouse where they recreated the chips, and they were going to Green Valley and a couple other places, and they were successful with that.
They got away with it for X number of time until they would find that they had too many chips in the cage for what they'd given out, and all of a sudden, then they go.
Where's all this coming from?
Reverse engineer it and finally figure it out.
And if you're careful, you can get away with stuff like that. If you're very, very careful. The problem is people get too greedy. Like I remember the Bellagio bandit, who I think just was released from prison, where he went to a craps table, horrible, armed robbery. His father's a judge too. Anthony Carleo, I believe his name. I covered this story when I was a reporter at CBS, where he walks in there in a motorcycle helmet, goes into the Bellagio, armed robbery at the craps table, took the $5,000 chips. I don't know if they were $10,000 chips, but they were very high denomination chips.
Hard to wash those.
And he was living at the Bellagio for months using those some of the chips, not the bigger denomination.
This is pretty stupid.
And getting comped at the Bellagio. And then where he got caught was the bigger denomination chips. He tried to sell them at the poker table, and one of them was an undercover agent. And that's how they found him, and he went to jail. But it's amazing that he even got away with. Because you go into a casino, you try to rob a casino. That's not the best place. Yeah, I don't want anybody to rob anybody, but I'm saying a casino is probably the most dangerous place for a thief to try to rob.
They all get too greedy. I mean, that's what happens, And why would you? I wouldn't want the high denom chips. They're too hard to wash. But one of the greatest stories is a guy named Ron Harris. Right? Ron Harris worked for the Gaming Control Board. He was in their math department. And what he did is he gaffed a whole bunch of slot machines and knew where they were going into the market. And then he would have people that he knew and say, play 1 coin, 3 coins, 2 coins, 3 coins, 1 coin. And it would trigger the jackpot.
Wow.
And he was taking small jackpots all over the place. And then he started taking bigger and bigger jackpots, and he got caught. So when Ron Harris went to like Club Fed for a little while, and when he got out, somebody said, hey, Ron Harris is working at a computer store for $6 an hour. I said, tell him I'll triple it. And he came to work for me for a year and a half.
What was he doing for you?
He was doing computer work for me and telling me about all the stuff he did.
Wow, that is crazy.
I wanted to know, right? I wanted to know all about it. And so I got the guy firsthand. He was telling me how he did it.
Crazy. You don't see a lot of people these days. There maybe are a few, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that are trying to cheat the casinos these days. Rare?
There's a lot more than you think.
Really?
That are out there doing it. And
what type of stuff do you think they're doing today in 2023?
A lot of it's just petty theft. A lot of it's just taking chips off the rail in a crap game and stuff like that. Pass posting, a lot of pass posting stuff.
Weak dealers aren't going to see it, then you can do it, right?
Yeah, well, taking advantage of weak dealers is something that I've done plenty of. Again, everything that's allowed to be legal. I've never marked a card, but I've looked at a whole card. If I've got a dealer that's showing me the whole card, what am I going to do? Close my eyes?
Yeah.
No, I don't get down and use mirrors and things like that. I don't lay my head on the table. I don't do anything like that. But if they're going to hold it up and show it to me, I'm certainly going to look at it, and I'm going to use that information.
I remember there was the Texas Hold'em table game, and I'm playing over at I think at the time it was the Hilton, and the table game just came out. Really weak dealer. And she's picking up her own 2 hole cards like this and basically showing it to everybody.
Right.
You want to talk about an enormous advantage if you see one of those cards.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. Doesn't make me a bad person, right? I didn't say anything. I just played accordingly. And if whatever that card was, I played accordingly to how I thought I should play.
Yeah.
If the dealer has an ace or a king, I'm not going to put up more money before the flop, and I'm going to wait and see if the dealer makes a hand. If the dealer, for example, showed a deuce, and I have a deuce with an ace, oh, God, I'm going to raise.
Sure.
If I have a deuce with a king, I'm going to raise. If I have a deuce with a queen. So I tried to switch my game based on what the dealer showed.
This is the perfect argument for why it's legal. Because it's not your fault. It's their job to cover it.
Right.
You haven't done anything to allow you to see that. They've allowed you to see it.
Exactly.
And so, that's the way it works. There was a show called King of Vegas several years ago. And I was asked to go and audition to be on the show. It was a gambling show. And it was a competition. And so they put us through these paces playing all the games. And they wanted to see if we understood the games and so forth. So they put me on to play blackjack. The first hand comes out, and the dealer's got a 10 up, and I've got a 15. And there's this little kid, this little like snotty kid in a lab coat, taking notes and watching me play. So I got a 15, dealer's got a 10, I'm supposed to hit that. All right, I take my 15, I stick it. And he goes, why did you do that? He goes, that's not basic strategy. He goes, you can't be counting cards because it's the first hand out of the deck. And I go, why don't you just be quiet and watch? And the dealer turns over a 5 because I saw the 5, right? I knew the dealer had the 15.
What an idiot. I would have told that idiot to shut up. Yeah, what a dumbbell.
He was screwing off. He was running away.
What a dumbbell.
Of course, the dealer then hit it with a 6. So that just kind of...
There's nothing you can do about that. You just got to play the odds.
Yeah, that muted my story.
I hate people that get into your business like that. Oh, my God. We could talk about that for years. Anyway, Anthony Curtis, your website, Las Vegas Advisor, is one of the best in town by far. Always a pleasure to have you on. Appreciate it. We'll have you on again soon, and you got to come out to Sapphire one of these days.
Sounds good, man. I'm there.
All right. That's a wrap, everybody. Thanks to Anthony for joining us. And Jamie is taking over the realms for me tomorrow.
Yeah, we have an amazing guest
will
tomorrow.
Not be here. Yes, I will not be here tomorrow. Jamie will be taking over. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. That's a wrap, everybody. And Jamie, go get him tomorrow, all right?
For sure.
All
Hey,
right.
before we head out, I want people to know we do have Kara Jenkins who's running for mayor tomorrow, and a story about an OnlyFans model who's once a teacher. So please.
All right. Looking forward to that. I'll be tuning in. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.